Oh! 800k damage is a lot, but it's actually not that hard to do once you know what you're doing. If you want to hit like this, all you have to do is follow these simple steps. Step 1. Have either a Pyro, Cryo, or Hydro character with a large scaling burst, preferably over 300k. The reason for this is to have access to Vaporize and Melt. The reason why Vaporize and Melt is so overpowered is because it increases your damage while still being able to crit. Unlike the other elemental reactions, Vaporize and Melt is able to multiply your damage, which is why you see damage like this. Step 2 is talents, weapons, and artifacts. Talents, you want to be increasing these as much as you can with the boss drops that you get. If you're like me and are super unlucky, you probably have a bunch of material that you don't even use. The artifacts are 2-piece Wanderer's Troop and 2-piece Noblesse Oblige. The main substats you're focused on is crit damage, attack percent, and elemental mastery. For the sands piece, you want ideally elemental mastery. If you don't have an elemental mastery piece like me, you can just run attack percent with the good substats. But ideally you want to have elemental mastery here. For the goblet, you want to run your elemental damage bonus. In my case for child, it will be Hydro. And you want to look for these types of substats, ideally with attack percent instead of energy recharge there. And lastly, for the circlet, you want crit damage, and you want to focus on the same substats as well, with elemental mastery, attack percent, and crit rate if you can. The weapon of choice is stringless because it gives 165 elemental mastery, and it also gives a massive 48 damage bonus for your elemental burst. Here are my final stats. My elemental mastery could be higher if I had a correct sands piece for it, but since I don't, I'm just running attack percent. With the new 1.2 update, we did gain access to a new Hydro set. If you don't have access to Wanderer's Troop pieces that are good enough, the 2-piece Ocean Conqueror set will do just fine. Step 3. The nuke setup and Spiral Abyss Floor 7. You want Sucrose with 4-piece Viridescent Veteran, Bennett with 4-piece Noblesse Oblige, and Constellation 2 Klee with a 4-piece Instructor's set, and a Refinement Rank 5 Thrilling Tales. Make sure you're also doing this on floor 7 to get that juicy extra 120% crit damage. For the actual combo, first you want to put the Hydro debuff on an enemy, and then swirl it off with Sucrose. Use Bennett's Burst. Use Klee's Elemental Skill. Make sure you're in Bennett's Burst, and nuke that bad boy. Oh! Here's another example of me doing it, but this time on the Pyro Regisvine. The principle is still the same here. You want to put the Hydro element onto the enemy, then swirl it off with Sucrose. Next, put down your Bennett Burst, Klee's Elemental Skill, and drop that nuke.
500! 500!
So now you know how to nuke in Genshin Impact.